What's up guys, welcome to Wasted Space, and today's the first of a couple of videos that I'm going to be doing on Atlas Reactor by Tryon Worlds, which is a game that melds a couple of genres and honestly took me a bit by surprise, especially when I looked at their website and immediately thought, oh well, this is a MOBA. And it so very isn't. The best description I can give for what Atlas Reactor is, or the best comparison, would be what you get if you were to cross Overwatch with XCOM. Which is pretty strange, but actually has come together into a really intriguing title, especially for someone like myself who, honestly, I think I'm getting a little bit too old to be worrying about first-person shooters and Twitch and all that sort of rubbish, so this is far more my style. And why is that? Because it's turn-based. And not turn-based like you'd expect, not turn-based where everybody is taking their turns one at a time, but simultaneous turn-based. So that's a really intriguing concept. So before we get into actually the game itself and I show you how it all works, because I think starting the game and actually just playing through is going to be the best way to explain that, because it is a bit of an interesting approach, let's have a quick look at the option menus and what's going on in here, just explain a little bit of the stuff. So, bunch of different options in here that mostly aren't actually options, like replaying. Prologue is your tutorial missions. They were actually quite enjoyable. The trailer for this was actually quite good as well. But most importantly, we have an option menu here. Disappointed to see that graphics quality is just low, medium and high. It would be very nice to know at least what these are doing, if nothing else. But aside from that, it seems to have a good aspect ratio support, nice big range of resolutions available. Not sure anyone still uses 640 by 480, but thank you for including it. And some of the things you would expect, and perhaps even a few things that you wouldn't expect that start to give away a bit of the turn-based nature of this game, like shift right click being waypoints and new path, that sort of idea. Now, one other thing that's in here that's really important and kind of interesting is this auto-join Discord. This game actually has the functionality and the integration with Discord that means that when you join a PvP match, and this game is built around the idea of 4v4 PvP, you can automatically be put into a Discord channel with the other people on your team. So I like the fact that it's already got the voice comms and the things you need to group together and communicate with your team in it, because as you're going to see, that's going to be kind of important. So let's have a quick look at the range of different freelancers we've got available. That's what they're calling the heroes in this game, and as you can see, free-to-play mode gives you a hero rotation. So much like League of Legends, those sort of games, you get each week a selection of heroes that are going to be free, and they'll change every week and you can play them regardless of whether you paid for the game or not. The main difference here between this and something like League of Legends is this does not have any method for buying the heroes, the freelancers that you really like. So just for an example, I've been playing on little Oz here quite a bit because I both quite like how he looks and also quite like some of his abilities. But you'll notice that if we go in here, there is no option here to actually buy him as a hero. And if we go up to the buy button, you'd think, oh, that's obviously where you do it. All you can do with this is buy the game outright. This is what I meant by it having a split personality kind of, where you can buy the game to get everything in it, or you can play it free to play, understanding that you don't necessarily get to play on the hero you want all the time. This, if I say I really like Oz here, next week he's not going to be available, probably, and there's no way for me to get at him. So it's worth taking into account. Now what we're actually going to do for our first game is go against bots, and the reason for this is against bots solo, it gets rid of the time limit, so it can explain a bit better what's going on. Now I'm going to turn the difficulty up, I'm going to put some AI teammates on. You can actually customize the difficulty a bit better than that if you click the cog. Interesting that the enemy AI has actually been made slightly worse than my team. Am I really that bad? Let's bump those up to the middle. Stick with Oz and we can just hit ready to play against bots. Always like the fact there's a co-op mode. But in this mode, the time limit that is for each round won't apply. We're allowed to spend a little bit longer than we would be in multiplayer, and that's going to be important because the turns, as far as I can remember, are 20 seconds. You have 20 seconds to decide what you're going to do, not just yourself, but potentially as a team as well. So this is much faster paced, I think, than any turn-based I've ever played. I quite like the graphic style. It's got a kind of Borderlands-y sort of vibe to it, especially with the characters. It's interesting that the characters are cel-shaded, but the actual map itself kind of isn't. But anyway, here we've got the ability at the start of the game. Here's our map. The enemy team will probably be starting up here, and you can see this is ticking down, ticking down, ticking down. Now, fortunately, as I said, I don't have to worry about this because it's going to come up with a warning at the end saying, if you were playing multiplayer, then you would have sacrificed your turn at this point. And you'll also notice we've got these two little time bank balls. That means twice per game, you're allowed to take 5 seconds longer. But in this case, we're out of time, so I can explain a little bit about what the hell's going on. So we've got a selection of abilities down here at the bottom, and in the first turn, all you can do is move, because all of these are on a 1-turn cooldown, which is fine. You'll also notice they've got these little blips underneath them, and those are going to be really important, because each turn has 4 phases. So we start off with a dash, which you'll see is ones with this, with a prep. Then we have a dash, which is the second blip. And then we have, where's the blast? The blast at the end. And then finally, and this is the really weird part, I think, the last thing you do is move. And it seems really counterintuitive. You'd like, surely you move first, otherwise you're going to get hit every time. Yes and no. The reason you don't move first is because that's what dash abilities are for. They're dodging. The moving at the end is to ensure that you can hit someone sometime, possibly, because you can imagine it would be impossible otherwise. Now you can also notice we've got these little markers on the floor that are showing us what our AI teammates are doing, and if I hold down Alt I can also see what abilities they've got and make these sort of things a little bit more obvious. So start our game, I'm just going to move up to some cover. Cover matters in this, of course, just like in XCOM. You'll be familiar with some of this if you've played XCOM and some of the way the HUD is laid out and some of the concepts behind it. And I'm just going to hit there and then hit space to lock in. That does all my movement for me. And you'll notice that one of the cool things about Oz here, they've all moved as well, loads of stuff going on. Because I'm with AI, they immediately make their decisions. And as you build up knowledge about these characters, you start to understand a bit about how to work with them. So I know here, for example, that Rampart is he's got a big shield he's going to put down there, really cool ability. And these guys seem to be lobbing grenades. I apologise for this noise on top. I will try and make that a little bit quieter at these locations, but I feel it's easier that I explain it to you like this and understand what's going on. So I have various different options I can do here because of how the turns play out. So if I was to move, that's the last thing that's going to happen. No use to me. I'm much better off, say, using maybe a dash ability, but this is not particularly relevant because this is all to do with dashing to my after image, this little fella here. So I think the first thing I should do is just maybe take a shot. Try and hit someone. Have I got anyone in range? No one in range, but you'll notice here, quite cool, my little after image shoots on this character as well. And this character, it's all about what you do with your little friend there. So given that I don't seem to be able to do anything useful with this ability, and you can see how now these 20-second turns all of a sudden start being quite long, quite dramatic. I've actually got myself in a really bad position for this first turn. So I'm going to move somewhere more beneficial. My character's quite squishy, but does quite a lot of damage. So I want to try and sort of get in the fight, but not right in the fight. So maybe over here looks good. And my turn is just going to be sprinting over there. Now we could use one of my little catalysts down here, but these can only ever be used once a game. These don't recharge. These are like one-off things. So worth hanging on. So let's just lock that one in and see what happens in the turn. This is all going to unfold, so you can see prep abilities go off first. So this is, for example, Rampart putting down that big shield I said he was going to do. So these are the normally heals or dodges or abilities, stuns, things like that. Things designed to mess with the flow of the game. Then there was a dash, so Rask dashed forwards and unfortunately for him hit the shield. Rampart's good with that. Rampart, and then we got blast, so this is your attack round. So everyone did their attacks, and then finally you got the movement, and people move at the end of their turns. And you can start to see how this plays into a really tactical game that's also really fast-paced. Now here, because I've got the opportunity to shoot with my little dude as well, all I'm going to do is try and get a good shot on L from both directions, like this, and then this guy's in a good place. I'm constantly thinking, where do I want to leave my clone, my little copy of me? So I'm moving around so that my clone is going to end up being here. Hidden actions are of course happening by someone that we can't see. Now we don't know where that person is. They've got someone hidden around the map. And then they go through and play out the abilities one by one. And I don't actually understand how it decides this order, but I don't believe it matters. I think if you die, you don't actually die until the end of the turn anyway, until it's all been resolved. So you'll see at points people go down to pretty much dead, but then they just stand there, and that's, I think, to let the turn completely play out as if all these actions had happened simultaneously. So now I'm in a really nice position. I've got my clone there, and I'm on this corner behind them a bit. Looks like Celeste is having to run away. Rampart, I don't actually know what he's doing up there, so I'm just going to use this like nice big AoE ability, get shots on both Orion and Rask, and then I'm going to keep moving to drop my clones around. I could move him, I could stay where I am, that would leave him where he is. It's not a bad spot for him, but I think I want to get around behind them and keep with this AoE blasting, because that's one of the things that this character seems really cool for. So here you go, this is my dual AoE. Got all 3 of them. Nice. Now, I think the shield means that they actually absorb some of it with armor. I don't know quite how the armor mechanic works yet. I've only played a few games, but I think that's what that's all about. And then finally, move phase. So we need to start focusing someone. We need to get the kills because we play to 5 kills. So I think Orion needs to die, and I think the easiest way to get Orion to die, is that going to be enough? No, let's just double shot on Orion like that. And then I'm actually in this case going to use my make my look. I'm going to switch with my copy. And now I can just lock that in, and it's actually going to perform both of those. Now you may think, oh, what happens if they're both in the same round, same part? That doesn't matter. You can use as many as you want. So my dash plays out first. These guys are in a huge rush. Rampart is a beast, one of my favourite characters. Oh, and then a big hit on Orion, because both of my shots got on him at once. This guy, Orion, seems to have some really cool abilities. A little bit of me, I know it's an interesting thing with this, because there's a bit of me that wants the turns to play out simultaneously, like the actual actions in the turns to play out all at once, so it looks really cool. And then there's also a bit of me that thinks, in reality, they already play out pretty blooming fast. Would you want it to play out any faster? So in this case, I'm just going to take Rask to the cleaners, and then I'm going to move to pick up this health, spawns around the map. I'm trying to do it in the right turn while also give commentary, just to prove that, yeah, you can do it, but don't want to feel like I'm cheating you guys. Rampart with his beast shield again, blocking L. She's got a nasty shotgun ability and this drone, as you saw, that can shoot on her command. Don't know who she thought was over there. Give Rask some hassle, both directions. He may move for the health as well here, actually. Oh, Orion's almost down, but he's doing big damage before he does. I'm almost down. No! Oh, he didn't go for that. I was worried he was going to go for the health as well. So the other thing, the only mechanic really I haven't mentioned is that we've got energy down here, and this is charging up for our ultimate, which in this character again is really, really cool. But I don't think there's anything particularly special here for me to do other than to make sure Rask dies. Yeah. Now you can at times do really clever things with like hitting 2 different people by positioning your other character cleverly. But in this case, I'm not that good yet. This guy's supposed to be one of the more difficult ones to play. Oh, now what Russ done here is put down a trap. That means if you move through this, you'll be in trouble. Unfortunately, he's also down. Now he will respawn. When you die, you just respawn. It takes 2. Speaking of death, so someone's invisible over there. Look at him, Nyx there. That's the guy that's been hidden this whole time. So this is how the respawn mechanic works. You can basically pick a respawn location, and it's going to take you 2 turns to get back in, basically. Now, where are my team at? Right, the guys that need help are all this side. So I might spawn down here, try and look at picking off L, and maybe try and help these guys stay alive, because Su-Ren is really low, and they're ahead of us at the moment. 1 to 2. Again, it's first to 5, or as you can see, after 20 turns, whoever's got the most kills wins.
Temporary upgrade active.
Oh, Celeste's fine, and they seem to be kind of ignoring Su-Ren, which is absolutely perfect. Now here, because I've only just spawned, I have to move first, which is a shame because it looks like I'm in a great position to do some nasty damage. Celeste has kind of got out. I kind of want to get to a position, there you go, where I can maybe find Celeste, who's hiding back here, and finish her off.
Bullets for you.
Alright, Su-Ren's just used like her ultimate. This is a massive shield, and any damage that's dealt to her this turn will get reflected back. So I'd be interested to see, do they predict it?
None can rise against
or
me.
do they not? Ah, they don't. So that is going to reflect back onto Nyx. Yes, every game has a claw, of course.
We're all slow as snails.
So there's L. Ooh, I might not have done this particularly well. Is that going to get her? I think it's going to get her. Alright, let's give that a try, and then I'm going to move. Am I going to move there? No. No, I am going to move there. I need to be in a better position for the rest of the fight.
I go where I want.
Oh, no, I don't know why you put the barrier there. Is that to protect Celeste, perhaps? Just the wrong way round. Oh no, it's because Rusk's there. Roger. Nice. L hasn't moved. Didn't move during the dash phase, and that was really important for what mine was going to do, because I should be able to hit all of these guys now. Just one big pack. Hello, friends.
Fire.
What?
One more.
Oh well, someone else did it a lot better than I did. So, Orion's got to be next target. Yeah, come on guys, get on him. Ooh, Catch Me If You Can this might be a perfect opportunity for a bit of this, because this enables me to dash to a square 3 times. Oh no, I got it wrong. Damn it. You need the spaces to dash to, and I didn't think of it. This is going to create 3 clones, which can all fire for a few turns, but if I'd managed to charge through them with each clone, each one does damage. Oh, my guys are so close. If these guys go down in a group, that's our game over. But we've got to kill... yeah. Okay, so I can cause some fun here. As you see, we've got 3 of these lasers that I can now make use of. So... I think that's probably the best move. Orion may well try and dash out, but I don't really have any other solutions. The other thing I could use is Brain Juice to bring that round next turn. I think I will actually. This is my catalyst, only once per turn, so only once per game. Sorry, bring that round. But so far, the gameplay in this has been intriguing. It's hard to track what's going on. You definitely need to learn what the heroes are doing, understand their abilities, and being able to play like this, where you can take a bit more time over it, and then you can look a bit more with these things, for example, what they're actually doing and what's happening. Now, I got to admit, there are bits of this UI that could be better.
You wanna play? Let's play.
Ah, nice. Oh, 4-3. Pulling it back. So I'm down to 2 clones now, but I have my shotgun blast up and ready, but he's behind cover. Damn it. I reckon I should just move to over here so I've got a nice spread for my clones. No point to use the turtle tech, which will give me shields. But I have everything on cooldown now for whatever happens next. I might have wanted to go and get some health, actually. I'm quite low. Normally one of the catalysts is a heal that happens over 3 rounds. I just unfortunately got rid of mine because I thought it might be better to have the cooldown ability, and I sort of regret it.
I am eternal.
Yeah, gameplay for this so far has been fun, but yeah, it's going to be so very hard to master. Ooh, that's not a bad shot. Is there anyone else around obvious? No, there's not. Cool. Let's try that. And then one of me there and one of me there, perhaps? Oh no, I should have gone there. I'm still trying to treat this like the turn limit's a thing, because if you can't do it in the turn limit... He's there? Sneaky little git. This Nyx guy I've got to play, apparently. Certainly like some of the hero variety, but the hero variety, of course, does also mean that there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of heroes out there that you've got to understand what they're doing. They're all very visually distinct, which is great. He predicted that I was going to move there. What a git. Well, how about this? I predict that your guys are going to be somewhere within that area next turn. Screw you!
Feeling inspired.
Hopefully that does it. Yeah, hero variety is really cool. I did initially wonder, I was thinking, oh, it would be so much cooler if I had like maybe a couple more abilities, then I could really work some combos and get everything crazy. And I thought to myself, if they did that, how confusing would it be to try and keep track of what's going on and what everyone could possibly be doing? You know this game is going to get incredibly meta by the end. Like once you get good with this, or maybe go into the ranked queue, which isn't available to free-to-play players, it is going to be really quite different. They're about to catch back up again, and we're no closer to a kill. In fact, I'm in trouble.
5 turns remaining.
I'm in quite a lot of trouble. Who can we go for? We've got to go for Nyx, surely. He's got to be the weakest. Alright, I'm going to turtle tech. I'm going to shoot. Wish I could shoot in different directions with these two. And then I'm going to go for the health. Yeah, he's going to shoot at me so blatantly.
We
That's why Turtle Tech gives me a 30 damage shield this turn, which is probably a good choice, because I reckon I'm next target here. Me or Rampart. Yeah, as I was saying, you could imagine if there was many more abilities, while you might be able to feel like an absolute boss, it just gets so confusing. Right now, the abilities seem to have a decent amount of identity. I've been through a number of the different free heroes, because I don't have the actual game yet. I'm planning that for the second video. That will be the main difference. Is for the second one, I'll actually have access to everything. We'll see how it plays out differently, and how it plays out differently if I know a bit more of what I'm doing. Oh, this is perfect. I'll show you my last ability that you haven't seen, Zap Trap. So we're going to use that. That sets off a trap around me, and then I'm just going to try and get behind cover somewhere. This guy's got a massive slash attack, so I need to get the hell away from him. Hence, over here. But we're going to hopefully do a bit of damage to him first. Suren's helping me out with a stun. Nice. There you go. A bit of damage on Rask. These basically do... Anybody that comes within range of these shields takes a bit of damage. Ow! Oh, God. That's it. They win. They win, it was my fault. The turn does finish, and that idea being that if it plays out and both teams get a kill, I did have this earlier, so where you both get to 5 on the same turn, it keeps going until someone has 6, until the next kill. So let's have a look, how do we do scoreboard wise? Oh, my damage wasn't too bad. And how perfect. A season reward. I've hit level 5, so this gives me a chance to talk about some of the bits and bobs that go on with the progression system in this game. So, you have the potential, every time you earn a level, to get one of these loot matrices. And these matrices, however you want to pronounce it, and these things contain, as you probably guessed to be honest, skins, they contain emotes, they contain banners. It's that sort of idea. It's where you get the cosmetic bits for the game from. You also get, as you can see, a bunch of different rewards in the form of XP or in the form of these things for completing various missions, both daily. Ooh, I've actually got chapters to the season. Interesting. So this bit I haven't seen. I'll be able to report on that in the next video a bit. You can see how this works, and we get different rewards for completing each chapter apparently and each level. But on top of that, let's have a quick look before we finish at some of the options available for how you can kind of customize your Freelancer. Because obviously we've got a reasonably wide range of Freelancers, and I guess you could assume maybe if you were to cut the UI off about there's certainly room for a fair few more. And I know, for example, Suren here has been added since release. She's not been around that long, so they are definitely actively adding freelancers already. And if you go into practice mode, you can also try out all of the freelancers. So there is a way of going in and actually having a look and seeing how they all play, what their abilities are, if you want to learn a bit more about them. But if we go back, in fact, let's do it here. We can have a look at this guy's name. Interesting, it doesn't actually tell you his name on the screen anywhere. Blackburn. So if we go into here, we can look at his abilities and mods, and this enables us to make minor changes to how the character actually plays out. So you can see we can't start off with some default ones, but there are little bits and bobs that you can do to kind of change it up a bit. And here we have, I think this is a maximum amount that you can use at any time. And in order to unlock one of these, we need these mod points, and these are earned simply by leveling up. So you can level up either your Freelancer or your overall account, and this will give you these mod tokens. So it's not like those are a buy thing or anything like that. The whole point of this has been set up that there is no advantage to buying the game, aside from the ability to be able to play whichever one of the Freelancers you want, to play in the ranked mode, and to go in here and actually be able to create a custom game. You can join custom games as a free player, you just can't make them. So it's worth keeping that in mind. There are some definite restrictions on free to play. It's not quite the same as, say, League of Legends, where it literally is free to play and then you can earn everything in the game from within the game. You can't really do that here because there's no way of buying a Freelancer outright. But you can go and get everything else simply by playing, which is quite nice. So you have the abilities, you have these little mods, and they're just going to make small differences to how the playstyle plays out. And I quite like the fact that that's the thing. It means that there's a little bit more to it than that. And it also means that even as an experienced player, you're going to have to pay a little bit of attention because it might just not quite be like width of the attack by 1. That could take you by surprise, for example. You never know. So there's a little bit of customization option there. Obviously, we've got skins. Eliminator, eh? No, you sure you don't mean Terminator? So there's a nice range of skins, and the ones I've seen look to be pretty good, worth trying to pick up, and then there's a whole bunch of colour variants for each one. When it comes down to when it comes down to my opinions of this game so far, it's going to be interesting. As a new player, I'm intrigued by the whole concept, but I'm quite scared by PvP. So I'm worried that when I go into PvP, especially if I go into PvP and I'm not someone that wants to use comms, I'm going to really struggle, because at that point I have no way of communicating with my team properly, and I've only got 20 seconds around to work out what they're doing as well as decide how I'm going to respond to it. So it really comes down to me as to A, how many people playing the game are actually using the Discord app, how many people have gone into these options and gone auto join Discord on and had these options on. Now, I'm pretty sure these were on by default here, and this was off by default. But you do need people to actually be using those things for this to play out quite like they want, I think, because it's going to be, as I mentioned, really quite difficult. It's going to be really quite complex once you get people that properly understand the game and properly understand all of the heroes in it, properly understand what the meta is, because there will be some that are better than others, despite how hard they want to balance it. I just have no idea what they are yet. Given that there will be some that are better than others and so on, or some that you prefer more than others, maybe the fact that you can't play the Freelancer that you want is a bit of an issue long term. You know, maybe it is one where, while it's got a free mode, you're not really going to be playing that much, or at least if you play it, you're not going to be having as good a time as you could be. That's probably their intention in the end. They do want to have the game to have some funding, some backing, and it doesn't have any of these models like the other free-to-play games, like League of Legends, where you can buy currency to spend in game, for example. So it is interesting to see how they're going to go about maintaining this long term, and what the community is going to be like when it comes to PvP and so on. So that's kind of my concerns right now. The whole point of this next video is going to be able to come back, having played it a fair bit, give a better opinion on what that's like a bit more long term, having played a decent amount of PvP. I have played some, but I need to play more, understand it a bit better. I need to try playing with some other people as well. And with the full unlocked version of the game, you know, the paid mode, so that I can see what difference that makes and whether or not it's something where really you should be buying this game if you want to enjoy it properly. So that's the plan, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. I've tried to keep it mostly factual for the first one, keep some of my opinions mostly for the second one, where I'm a bit more informed, and you guys maybe kind of appreciate more the informational approach. I try to keep it as much information as I can, and the opinions, while important, they're each going to be different for each person. Maybe if you look at the game, you can formulate your own rather than relying too much on what I think. If you did like this video, guys, then please hit like. Like button's just down there. If you didn't like it, dislike button's right next to it. Feel free to hammer away on that one as well. If you're new to the channel, then please consider hitting that subscribe button, because I try and keep, as I said, my content nice and informational, nice and informative, not too much heavy opinion about what I hate or what I don't hate, so that you guys can make up your own mind. So consider hitting that subscribe button as well, please. And otherwise, I will catch you guys for the next one.